mom all the time, and he really stresses me out, and I just...
So she's saying, he wouldn't let me in the car before. And my understanding from the 911 calls is that this altercation occurred at this natural foods grocery store in the parking lot, maybe partly inside the store, going in and out, and then in the parking lot. And what I discerned is that he had made a decision that they needed to be apart. Like, we need to separate right now because this is too intense. We have to just each take a break, walk to our separate corners, breathe for a few minutes, and then we can, come back together, which actually I think is a great idea. But it's a little bit different when you are traveling with someone and the vehicle is their home, essentially. You're kicking them out of their home, of their only access to their things, to their security and safety, and it can really trigger issues of abandonment. So his decision to say, you're not getting back in this vehicle, and then, try to prevent her from entering to the point where a witness saw him pushing her away, and then her having to actually crawl over him through the driver's window, apparently, to get back into the vehicle because he had locked all the doors. You can see how, while it may have started as a good idea, it actually was a terrible idea, especially because there are reports that she had expressed fear about being abandoned in the desert. I don't know if those reports are really true or not, but nonetheless, they've been published.
This is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons.
Okay, so he just said, you're not in any trouble. I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you, which is kind of like making a promise, meaning, you're not in trouble here. You don't need to worry about your constitutional rights. You don't need to worry about incriminating yourself. You don't need to worry about perhaps remaining silent. You don't have to worry about whether or not you need to talk to a lawyer during questioning. He's making it seem like those are sort of nonsensical concerns. All you're doing is sitting in the back of an air-conditioned car. I mean, how can you say no to that, right? And then, as you will see, she proceeds to partly incriminate herself by, answering questions and speaking with the police and, talking to them about all this. But mostly it's that the police develop a narrative very, very early on from statements made by Brian. And it seems that they then take those statements and their investigation goes in the direction of trying to confirm the statements, and that they exhibit a confirmation bias from the get-go, that because they know about one assault or battery, which is the punching in the arm while he was driving that they claim made him swerve. They know about that because it was confirmed by both of the parties. And so that's already a crime right there, okay? So that is a crime. And it seems that that plants the seed in their minds that she's the primary aggressor. And then when they conduct their investigation, they're looking for evidence that is more likely to confirm that assumption than to dispel it. And we see this a lot when police question suspects, is a confirmation bias, and that they over-rely on inculpatory evidence and then they disregard exculpatory evidence. So my advice, and the advice of every attorney worth their salt, there's really no dispute about this, is do not answer questions when the police are talking to you, whether it's at a traffic stop or any other kind of investigation. Just simply say, I'm sorry, I don't answer questions. And you can actually say, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent and to have an attorney present during questions. Say it, say the words out loud, but say it, in my opinion, it really helps you. It behooves you to say it in a polite manner. So don't do it in a na-na-na-na-na, because that serves no one. It's not going to help you. So be polite and courteous, but be firm. And if either of them had remained silent, this would have gone totally differently. They probably would have gotten a ticket for the speeding. They may have gotten a ticket for crossing the line. They may have gotten a ticket for going up on the curve, you know, some kind of reckless driving, whatever. They may have asked him to do an impairment test to see if he's driving under the influence of something. But none of this domestic violence stuff would have even come out, you know, if they had remained silent. So it's just a good example that even if she wasn't the primary aggressor, because I wasn't there and I don't know what happened, but there's a good chance that she was not the primary aggressor and that the police misidentified her as the primary aggressor for reasons that we'll discuss. It's in her best interest to remain silent. When you're silent, it's very hard for the police to misconstrue what you say and use it against you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water to get a 6-gallon water container to fill up, so we're just getting water for the hike. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet because there's plenty still to go for our hike, but it's good. I'm sorry about that.
Of course. Do me a favor, you want to just take a seat right over here on the curb for me?
And if I was speeding, I'm sorry. My apologies.
You don't have anything in my pocket or anything like that, do you? Nope, just the wallet. All right.
Did you see that? I gotta stop this. Did you see that? You don't have anything in your pocket, do you? He let the guy search his own pocket. He let him search himself. How often do you see that happen with a black subject? My whole career, I've never seen that happen. You don't have anything in your pocket, right? No, I'm good. Yeah, just my wallet. He's sticking his hand in his pocket. He stuck his hand in his pocket, digging around in there. And then he says, you don't have a weapon or anything. And instead of patting him down, he just has him like hold up his shirt and just kind of turn around. It's so interesting to me that something as small as that totally changes the power dynamic. When an officer has you up against a car with your feet spread, your arms up, and they're doing the whole pat down and all that, that is about domination and, believe it or not, humiliation and control. They might claim that that's not the intent, but that's the effect. And he elected not to do that to this guy. Even though there was a 911 call that said, at that time he knew about the 911 call that said, we witnessed a domestic violence incident and the guy pushed the girl away from him. So we know there was something. And he's just kind of like, yeah, just, lift up your shirt, show me. So different. The police don't perceive him as dangerous. They don't perceive him as a threat to them. They were happy with just putting the car on the dash, or putting the keys on the dashboard, and then eventually moving it to the hood, but not forcing him to leave the car initially, for the first 15 minutes. It's just a really different kind of tone when a young, white, attractive, because I think that makes a difference, straight couple gets pulled over. Officers kind of can relate to them and see themselves in them, and it's just a whole different dynamic. If this had been a black family, I don't think it would be going like this so far.
I just want to make sure, that's all, man. Go ahead, do me a favor, take a seat, all right?
Okay, so one thing he does do is he puts him on the curb. And that is a specific domination, humiliation, control tactic, and wasn't, necessary. I mean, necessary. I think that similarly situated subjects should be treated similarly. And so what I don't like is to see two people who are basically accused of the exact same thing and one of them sitting on the curb and one isn't. Do I think anyone should be sitting on the curb? No. I don't think that that's a good, I know why they do it, and it's officer safety and yada yada and controlling them. I think that it causes more harm than the benefit of giving the officers more safety and control in terms of community relations with the police, because anyone who has sat on a curb in front of a couple of police cars knows how that feels, the feeling that it generates. And that feeling is a very destructive feeling when it comes to law enforcement having a positive working relationship with the community that they serve. So they did make him do that. And They also, in a few minutes, you'll see they deny him a hat for his bald head and sunburn, which is something that I disapprove of. And I don't think that they should have denied him that. I think they should have granted that request.
Oh, do you have your ID on you?
In the car, you want to come with me?
No, we'll just do this. Go ahead and take a seat.
You come with me, I'll get you.
Alright, you're fine. What's your first name?
Brian?
Brian? You got Ryan spelling?
Yeah.
I'm going to fast forward over some of this.
Brian, yeah.
First name Brian, layman spellings, last name Laundry, Lima Alpha Uniform, November. It's okay if you're saying you didn't know. First name Brian, layman spellings, last name Laundry, Lima.
Was I no woman in this life? Short upon the earth now was her time. Of all the seeds she'd sown and the people she had known, deeply did she touch the soul of mine. She called a spade a spade. She stood on the edge of reason and even faced with death until her final dying breath. She fought for what